Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. We are officially down to two teams. The Cincinnati Bengals making their first appearance since 1988, and the Rams making their, I believe, second appearance in 4 seasons. So Rams a little more riding a high. The Bengals are just happy to be here. That's essentially what they are. They're just happy to be here. Still 2 weeks or a week and a half left till the game. Everyone excited for the Pro Bowl this weekend. I know I am. We're going to discuss our last of the accountability shows, the tight ends. We'll also get into all of the head coaching vacancies that are still there, as well as all of the head coaching hirings and how we feel those will play out for fantasy football heading into the 2022 offseason and then subsequently into the regular season. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. Joining me, as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weiss. And for the 4th straight week, per usual, as on our accountability shows, I'm Chris Molina. Gentlemen, how was Sal AFC and NFC championship weekend? We don't need to ask Chris.
Great.
We know it's good for Chris. We know it's great for Chris.
It was great for Chris.
Yeah.
Great for the Bengals. What
great
an
for
epic
me.
Collapse.
I wasn't able to watch a lot of the second half because I did have to work. So I was following along and refreshing ESPN as fast as I could. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to, get, excited, if you know what I mean, at work when you just see the Chiefs not scoring touchdowns on 7 straight possessions. So
yeah, they turned into an absolutely different team in that second half.
Yeah,
just awful.
If someone could break it down for me, because again, I only saw overtime. And I didn't even see the Mahomes interception in overtime. I was working that entire time. If someone could break down what the hell did Cincinnati do in the second half to make Kansas City?
They played defense.
Oh, good. Okay, that worked.
They played defense.
Great pass rush. Mahomes was playing hero ball. Literally just trying to make things happen that weren't happening. It seemed like they really stopped going at their throat on deep plays, and I don't know if that was Cincinnati's defense. It didn't quite look like it. It was ugly all around. I mean, you could put a lot of this on Andy Reid as well as Patrick Mahomes. So.
I put the whole game on Andy Reid because if we go back to, and I texted you guys this, Andy Reid showcasing his brilliance of clock management 4.5 minutes into the game. If you're going to challenge the play, why would you call a timeout?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I understand you want to bust his balls, but honestly, that game stopped when Tyreek Hill didn't find the end zone right before halftime. That
100%.
What kind of
go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
What kind of a decision was that from Mahomes? Anyways, you trucked that ball out of bounds and kicked the field goal.
Yeah, I was really surprised they didn't kick the field goal to end the half either. It just. I don't know, with so few time that they had left, that's a chip shot for Butker.
Well, I think it really comes down to, from all the analysis I've seen, is Mahomes asked for one more play, thinking he would get the ball into the end zone in 3 seconds, and then worst case scenario is it's an incomplete pass. That's not at all what happened.
Nope.
So Mahomes let Reid down there. I think Reid wanted to kick the field goal. I think he put his faith in his quarterback, which you should. Mahomes let him down, plain and simple. So,
do we also see Mahomes calling for a timeout after the play? So
yeah,
he thought he still probably had a timeout, which again they would have if Andy Reid didn't.
So that's
call
fair. And what's funny, and I had forgotten about that until you just said it, because I even said it to Marlia, was how Marlia, being my wife, for those who don't know, how bad of Marlia loves Patrick Mahomes, loves the Chiefs. How bad of a look is that for Mahomes to be that unaware of a situation in the biggest game of your career in 2022, 2021?
I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to think that in his last in 6 of the last 8 quarters of the biggest games of his life, he has scored 0 touchdowns. So, I mean, I'm not gonna say that Mahomes still doesn't know how to play in big games, but in the 2 Super Bowls He hasn't played well, and he looked and let's be for real. Entering the playoffs, Cincinnati might have had the worst defense entering the playoffs. That's pretty damn close. They have the worst offensive line. That's not even a question. They have one of the worst defenses entering the
statistically, but they had flashed. Yeah.
Oh, they 100%.
Did you see what the Patriots gave up to the Bengals? I mean,
listen. I'm aware of what the Patriots did. I'm aware,
but statistically, the Pats' defense was
far and away better.
Cincinnati, yeah.
Yes.
Yo, I know. I just wanted to get a Pat's dig.
Oh, okay.
Yo, no,
like, no, they're not.
Hey,
okay, you had me confused. I'm like, New England is way better.
Patriots garbage. I mean, here's the thing. We have I would say this.
I mean,
we have Jalen Mills, but the Bengals have Eli Apple, and I think that might be worse.
The only defense worse than the Bengals would be the Bills because they suck, and that's how you win overtime, Cincinnati.
Okay.
Hold on. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We hashed it out last week. Listen.
I mean, listen. There's more evidence.
I got all the evidence I need since he played defense.
The whole defense
defense
wins championships. That's how overtime was supposed to work. Both defenses were on the field. Just saying.
One defense did its job. One didn't.
Yeah, and one defense did its job for an entire half.
Hide in a coin toss.
And moving on. I'm right.
Albert says the Bengals dropped 8 into coverage and rushed 3. I remember talking about this last year when the Bucs won, and they said, we've figured out the recipe to beat the Chiefs. And it seems to be blitz 3.
It's only the recipe if your 3 can put pressure on Mahomes.
100%.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the recipe. It's the recipe if you have 3 good down linemen. So,
it's kind of the same. It's always been the same philosophy with Brady. Like, the recipe to beating Brady, get pressure on him. I mean, that's what the Giants.
I mean, that's the recipe to win any game in the NFL is get pressure.
Well, yeah, it's pressure.
But with
Mahomes, when you drop that many into coverage, he can't pick apart and find the zones because there's too many people back there.
It's Mahomes you contain in the pocket. Brady is not pressure; it's pressure up the middle. Yeah. If you get pressure up the sides,
he ain't running away from it.
He's not running away from it. He's just gonna. When Brady steps up in the pocket, you think to yourself, "Oh shit, that's a touchdown!" Like that's what happens. Also. R.I.P. Love you, Brady.
I mean, and it looked good in the first half. Everything that. So, Joe, you said you watched the first half, right?
I watched the entire first half. I watched the whole Rams game. I just couldn't watch the second half.
So there was the play where everybody started swooning over Mahomes, where he did the half twist to juke out the defender, and then I don't even remember the result of the play. I think it was one of the ones where he hit Kelsey downfield or whatever.
Congratulations, you're an athlete in 2022.
He kept trying it in the second half, and it stopped working.
It didn't work.
That was the issue. So
tries to go for the big play. And I mean, I hate Tony Romo. I hate giving him any credit where credit is due. But he said Mahomes is taking the underneath stuff and taking what's given to him. From what it sounds like, he did not do that as the game progressed into the second half.
It was ugly, but I mean,
again, playing hero ball. And then, oh God, the two greatest things happen. The Bengals are in the Super Bowl as predicted by myself.
By 0 people.
By myself. I had the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Oh, when the playoffs started. Get the fuck out of here.
Who outside of Cincinnati Bengals fans had the Bengals in the Super Bowl? Who?
A lot of Cincinnati Bengals fans.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Did you see the guy who turned $20 into $500,000 by predicting the scores correctly on both
games?
That was incredible. That was incredible. I mean,
and that was a $20 free roll bet too, from what I gathered.
Oh, I didn't know it was free roll. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And shout out to Jimmy Garoppolo for solidifying that he'll be a Las Vegas Raider next year with Josh McDaniels.
He's going to be not a 49er. That's what we do.
What are you doing on that play? Like,
good Lord.
So here's the mindset, right? I'm yelling at my TV. I'm like, Jimmy, you can't take a sack. What are you doing? You can't take a sack there. In hindsight, take the sack.
Yeah.
Because
I thought he threw it behind his damn back.
Play.
I had to watch the play 3 different times. I thought he threw it behind his back.
It was, I mean, again, it's Aaron Donald. If Aaron Donald does not set the single game, just not even playoff record, single game overall record for most sacks, quarterback pressures, quarterback hits in a single game, the system is broken.
Well, he's probably going to be 4 blocked, and so it's just going to be Von Miller and Floyd tearing everything up.
Yeah, that's going to be. I have 0 faith in the Bengals offensive line, but then again, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times and he still won a football game. So
I thought, I don't know if it's official yet, but a friend of mine, huge Bengals fan, follows all the Bengals insider news. They're bringing back Tyler Eifert. Hell yes. Yeah.
Why?
Really?
Yeah.
Just so he can tear his ACL one more time in a Bengals uniform? Like, why are they bringing him back? Can you even sign someone this late?
I don't think so.
What about Drew sample size?
Maybe there was a joke I missed because there's no news about it whatsoever. But he
It was
texted
definitely
I
a
was like,
joke.
I didn't see this
No,
at all.
no. There was no joke in the text message. But at least now I can tell him he made me look stupid on the show. So.
All right, well, regardless. Well, hello, everybody. I'm glad we have people here enjoying the show so far. Angie, thank you for joining the show when I'm not shit talking your Falcons. That's a good start for you today. It's uncanny. It's uncanny. But I mean, the Falcons aren't in the playoffs, so you can't shit talk them.
There you go.
Yep. All right. Here are your head coaching updates. Sean Payton has stepped away. I feel like did that happen?
No, that happened like the day after.
The day
our show
after.
last.
Okay. I would say I feel like it
Feels like it's old news
I feel
because
like it
it
was
kind
years
of is,
ago.
but yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations, Saints fans. You no longer have to suffer. Sean Payton has decided to
Have
step
you
away.
seen their salary cap space? They're gonna suffer.
You know what's funny? I think people are making jokes about that. Like he's the dynasty manager that goes all in, loses all his picks, and then just bounces.
Did you see everyone trying to sell Taysom Hill shares? Because no one wants him anymore.
I did.
Yep.
I did for Brady.
Yes, I saw that. He traded him for Brady after he announced his retirement.
I mean,
Well-
Taysom Hill and Tom Brady are going to play the exact. I think Tom Brady's throwing us for a fucking loop. I think he's putting out an
he
ad.
never
be back.
did actually say
could
the
be
word
back.
retirement in that write-up that he did.
I'm just
so.
saying. He's throwing us for a loop. He's pulling a Brett Favre, except he'll actually come back and play well. I'm telling you, throwing for a loop. Don't count him out just yet. Broncos have hired a new head coach. Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. They also hired their tight ends coach, the Packers tight ends coach, as their offensive coordinator. They have also acquired Aaron Rodgers in a trade for picks to be announced at a later date, along with Devontae Adams for picks and players to be announced at a later date. And then subsequently, Aaron Jones for picks and players to be announced at a later date. So congratulations, Broncos fan. If he doesn't go to Denver, I mean, the Broncos, you're sorry. You are doing everything in your power to
I don't know who I got
to
into
Denver.
a conversation with about this, but if you are Aaron Rodgers, why would you want to go to the AFC right now?
I wouldn't.
I mean, with as much young quarterback talent there, it's one thing like Brady got out of New England right at the perfect time because when he went to the NFC, Drew Brees retired. I mean, everybody else was gone. You had Aaron Rodgers, really, and that was it. Everybody else is. Dak got hurt last year. I mean, Kirk Cousins, what? Russell Wilson, all they want to do is run the football, and they still can't play defense. Like, he had no competition in the NFC.
Stafford was still in the Lions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like now, if you go over to the AFC, you got to deal with Mahomes. You got to deal with Herbert. You got to deal with Joe Burrow. You got to deal with Lamar Jackson. You got to deal with Josh Allen. There is no clear path there at all.
Oh, there is. But it's called the NFC South. Just which one of those teams do you want to put into the playoffs every year?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, that's the point I'm getting at. You would be dumb if you're Aaron Rodgers, if you want to continue playing, to go to the AFC. Stay in the NFC.
I apologize. I
whatever
meant
you
to
gotta
say
do.
the AFC South because right now
I know
there's
what you
no.
meant. I know what
Yeah.
you meant.
No,
The NFC South too, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
well, people
I mean,
are,
Matt Ryan's the best quarterback in that division right now. Shout out, Angie.
people are talking about for some reason him going to Indianapolis and Carson getting rid of Carson. I don't see it happening. But again, if Denver doesn't acquire him, I mean that's tough. But I get the argument, like, who you're going to see a lot of good teams in the AFC. He's also going to see 6 horrible defenses.
Yeah.
Or 3 horrible defenses 6 times a year. Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs. So, there is that. But, I mean, you're also going to have to go up against Herbert and Mahomes 4 times a season. And then, if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't end up in Vegas, I don't know who does. But if not, Derek Carr twice a year, who has shown that he can play well. So, and also Denver has a good defense. Like, they do have a good.
They have a lot of
solid
free agents on defense, though. So
They do, but they got Surtain locked up. I think Chubb is locked up. Their middle linebackers are solid. Justin Simmons is a freak at safety. No one ever talks about him as the top safety in the league. So they have a good defense. But you are correct. AFC, better teams in theory.
Speaking of safeties, Joe, I just want to give you a quick shout out. Jesse Bates with that tip pass in overtime. And you've been calling Bates for I feel like a
2 years.
century now.
2 years.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about it's a safety tip to another safety, Von Bell, who I didn't put in my top 15 because he played, I believe, last in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And the last year he played in New Orleans, he was a top 15 safety in fantasy football. And I said I was worried about that because he's going to Cincy, whole new whatever, blah, blah, blah. Jesse Bates to Von Bell, that was, culmination of everything. Beautiful play by Bates on that. And also, it made it so much better that Eli Apple just dropped a pick 6 the play before. He's so bad. He is the worst corner in the NFL.
He still saved the game.
Ryan, I hate you. Ryan, I absolutely hate you. Okay, the Bears have a new head coach. Matt Eberflus is the new head coach in Chicago. For those that have no clue who that person is, because I didn't, he's the Colts defensive coordinator. So that vaunted Colts defense that played against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 18, that guy who has yet to win. Indy hasn't won a game in Jacksonville since 2014. That's sad.
It's been a hot minute.
The last 6 or 7 seasons they haven't won in Jacksonville. But anyways, Eberflus, the DC for the Colts, now the head coach for Chicago. Fun tip, according to the show sheet, the Bears were top 6 against fantasy tight ends last year. The Colts were dead last. So something to keep in mind with guys like TJ Hawkinson, Josiah DeGora, and Tyler Conklin.
Tunyon, I guess, if they re-sign him. But
yeah, if they re-sign Tunyon. I believe he's restricted, or was he restricted last year?
I think he was restricted last year.
And they got him on a 1-year deal.
1-year deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Potentially Irv Smith coming back, too. So.
Yeah. The Giants get their guy. Bills OC Brian Dable is the new head coach for the New York Giants, working with new GM Joe Schoen in Buffalo. So Dable, I mean, what are you going to argue with his offense? Like it's ridiculous. I hope he smacks some sense into the team in general and say, let's get rid of this bum ass Daniel Jones. But that probably won't happen. No. What if he turns Daniel Jones into the next Josh Allen?
Daniel Jones. That ain't happening.
I
think we probably get one more year of Daniel Jones, and then Dable and Shane will be like, all right, let's find our guy in this coming draft, and
one more year for him to prove he's Josh Allen.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly. Hey, this is his 3rd year. 3rd year Josh Allen was electric, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But 2nd year Josh Allen was also electric.
2nd year Josh Allen was also, but 2nd year Daniel Jones was injured. So we don't know what 2nd year Daniel Jones was. He was just injured. So was 2nd year Saquon Barkley. So I feel like that's a common theme for Giants 1st-round picks.
Yeah, I'd rather be hurt than play for that team too.
I would as well. The Raiders are now Patriots West. Tennessee became New England South, and now the Raiders are New England West. They have hired Dave Ziegler as their new GM. Dave Ziegler was the de facto GM of the Patriots. Josh McDaniels, that was the guy. And it made it so much better that Rex Ryan gave him a glowing endorsement. The bonehead that is Rex Ryan said the Raiders made the right move.
I don't understand why this was the one where he's like, yep, I'm ready to go now.
New stadium. They're probably paying him a shitload of money. Vegas.
But he's also being partnered with his guy. I mean, it's kind of similar like with Dable. Like Dable gets his guy there with the Giants. McDaniels, yes, Ziegler's going to have final say, but it's a collaborative process. He has a good relationship with Ziegler, so he feels that he can trust. Whereas like in 2018 with Indy, he didn't really know Ballard.
Yeah.
That's not his guy. And we know these coaches, they all have these egos that they feel like they can build their team their way. And, at least this way he's working with somebody that feels that he can trust and work with in a more collaborative way. So.
I'm just excited for Josh McDaniels to reach super high in the draft once again and draft a guy like Tim Tebow.
Let's be clear what we should be excited about, Joe. Josh McDaniels in the Patriots offense. And Hunter motherfucking Renfro.
Yeah, Joe, I know you saw my note in the show sheet. So.
Yeah. Josh, I don't ever rank him outside the top 24. I feel that's disrespectful. I think you shouldn't rank him outside the top 5, personally. Because Do we remember Wes Welker?
I was playing it safe.
I'm just hoping.
Do you remember Wes Welker?
I'm hoping he can crack my top 65 this year.
Yeah, right.
I still give.
I will say this is a huge boost for the Raiders' red zone offense more than anything, and I think that there's going to be a shot where we can still get Josh Jacobs at a discount, and we could be looking at a top 7 season for him because again, if the Raiders play red zone in 2022 the same way the Patriots were able to, you're talking about a top 10 red zone team. And that's only going to mean increased touchdown potential for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, it's great for Waller. You got to still see improvement
Really
out of that offensive line. But McDaniels knows how to build an offensive line. I mean, in theory. So
he doesn't know how to build an offensive line. Dante Scarnecchia knows how to build an offensive line.
Well, we're hoping things rubbed off.
They did not. I can guarantee you they did not, because the 2 years Scarnecchia was not a Patriots offensive line coach,
Oh, it was
they were
bad.
dead last in the NFL. Also,
But
he
the
drafted
bar-
Isaiah Wynn, so he does not know how to build an offensive line. But
I mean,
they got rid of Mike
speaking of
Mayock,
which-
so I mean, they're not going to reach for a second-round Alabama lineman high in the first round.
That's
so
what I was going to
good.
say. Alex
Yeah.
false start Leatherwood.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
So it was Bama and Georgia. So pick your poison on who the Raiders are going to be drafting this year in the first round from either of those teams. And the football team finally has a name. They went with the Commanders. They haven't commanded anything since Joe Gibbs, so I think this is kind of overcompensating for that.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah, speak it into existence. The Commanders. Uniforms look cool.
Fire.
The
Looks
logo
good.
looks
Haven't seen
terrible.
The logo is the same W they used, just different. How lazy are you?
It looks like what I get served tacos in when I go to like Fuzzies. Personally,
You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. I don't. It's not like,
I have no issue with it.
dude. I have no issue with it either. But it's also like,
I'm indifferent.
yeah, like that's a name. It's not like,
Yeah. It's
oh,
a name. That's a team.
oh shit. No, like it's the Battle Jacks or like.
no,
like
they
the balloon
definitely went
animals.
generic with this one, so not to piss people off in the future, kind of thing. So, yeah.
It's still, I don't. Red Tails. Like that's such a way better name.
It would have been a far superior name.
Such a way better name. Like Commanders. What? That's so stupid. Like the Generals would have even been just a tiny bit better because it focuses on, where you play. So stupid. Washington frauds. That's what they need to be. The Washington frauds. I mean, that fits.
The football team was growing on me. Like I kind of wish they would have just left it
No,
at that.
shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Football Club Barcelona. That's really what we're going to call fucking teams in the NFL now. Liverpool Football Club.
Steer into the skid,
Clever.
man.
Oh, stupid. At least Arsenal has
More
a
appealing
king.
to an international audience that actually recognizes football as what we call soccer. So
Okay, well, congratulations. If anyone from an international audience chooses to be a fan of the Washington Commanders, they
hey,
deserve
people in
what's coming
England
to them.
choose to be a fan of the Jaguars because they play in England every year.
Listen,
Let's
it's,
ask.
it's basically their home team.
Let's ask our French listener.
Bonjour.
Oh, bonjour.
Bonjour. Biggest news of the week. Brian Flores suing the NFL along with the Broncos, Dolphins, and Giants for improper hiring practices and claiming racial discrimination in the process. I love that it happened the first day of Black History Month when the NFL was starting to put out other Black History Month stuff. I wanna believe he timed it that way. I really want to believe he timed it that way. Like this was in his pocket like for like a couple weeks and he didn't want to release it and he timed it on the first day of Black History Month. That's what I want to believe. It's probably not true, but that's what I want to believe.
Well, it's been in his pocket since the Tuesday before Brian Dable was hired.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, there's something in that says Counselor Chris, some insight into the lawsuit ? I don't know if Chris, you know anything more than we do or anything more from a legal standpoint, but thoughts?
Well, I mean, this is a process, right? People are already on Twitter saying like, oh, how is he going to prove this? Oh, how is he going to prove that? Like, well, there's this process called discovery. It's after 5:00 and I'm still talking about law stuff, but it's cool.
Right.
You're welcome.
I didn't.
But
put it in the notes.
so in theory, they're getting around the Rooney Rule by interviewing these coaches who have no chance, essentially. So doing these interviews in bad faith, which I mean, that text message from Bill Belichick kind of seems like a smoking gun to get things going.
Well,
if
and then there's the
Flores
reports
hadn't
of-
even.
I said then there's the reports of the Denver interview where they showed up an hour late and were hungover. So,
What? I didn't see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I haven't read too much into it, but
It's-
also
it's bad.
of every head coaching firing, the only one where everyone collectively as a community went seriously was Brian Flores.
Yeah.
That was the only one where everyone was like, why would they do that?
Well, and then there's the.
I feel like that's a trend. I mean, if we look at years past, like a lot of these coaches aren't getting, their fair shake. Like, for example, I mean, Bowles wasn't the best, but like Gase immediately tanked the Jets to the depths far below Bowles.
Yep.
Jim Caldwell, same thing. He got fired after 3 winning seasons in 4 years with Detroit. Like, when does that ever happen in Detroit?
Winning seasons or a coach firing?
No, well, both. Yeah, I think there.
And
was,
then,
I
Sorry.
think there was one since Barry Sanders, one winning season since Barry Sanders before Jim Caldwell took over.
Caldwell was great.
well, and then there's the competitive issue that we also have owners paying for losses now. So
That
if
could be
Stephen
a
Ross
crime.
isn't, well, and if he's not forced to sell that team at this point, but yeah, that's a great point, Chris. I never considered that there's straight up a criminal aspect to this. So
Well, and then I saw something today where now Hugh Jackson has come out saying something similar happened with Haslam and the Browns.
Yep,
And
and the Browns
he
have
actually,
denied it.
Again, he has witnesses that
Yeah, I
back
said
him.
the Browns
Yep.
have denied it, and a third party has stepped up and
Yep.
vouched for him. So
I'm sure it happened to Hugh Jackson, but I mean,
if
I
I'm
would
Hugh
also
Jackson,
not hire Hugh Jackson.
this
for
is
the
not
record.
a thing to make jokes about, but if I'm Hugh Jackson, I'm latching onto this. Like, that's why I lost, baby. They were
Yes.
paying me.
I lost 32 straight games and have the worst head coaching record win percentage in NFL
It's
history
about
because
it's
of
about
that.
bank account, baby.
Oh, God. Yeah, we all collectively said Brian Flores should get a head coaching job elsewhere the moment he was fired from the Miami Dolphins. So
Yep.
I think there is
something I want to bring up. I was gonna say something I
there's
want to
such
bring up too.
legitimacy. Go ahead.
Is like people's first thoughts are like, oh well, Brian Flores is never going to get a head coaching job again. Well, like,
How gross
I
is
think
that?
that's crazy because like John Gruden sued the NFL too, and just like crickets. I think there's some prejudices there.
Yep. Oh, there's
100%.
certainly some fucking prejudices there.
Side note,
100%.
though, I don't know if you guys seen this, but Schefter just tweeted that Harbaugh has told Michigan that he's staying.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I saw
to
a
the
report
Vikings.
yesterday that basically said that Minnesota was giving Harbaugh the job like Wednesday afternoon. And
Yeah,
had
that's
that
how I thought.
initially in the show
I thought
sheet,
you were
but-
about to break that he was signing with the Vikings.
No, he's staying in Michigan.
Vikings fans,
Wow.
congratulations. You dodged a bullet. And to Michigan fans, I hope you look forward to continually losing to Ohio State again for 6 years. So
If
why
Minnesota-
would I still don't get why Minnesota wanted him. I still don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
It made no sense. It made no
He's
sense.
another one that power struggles. I'm great, big egos, and all this stuff. And I don't know. I feel like with I can't even remember the guy's name from last week. The GM they just hired. Like with this being his first GM job.
Cleffy Osetta something.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want to tie yourself to a massive egomaniac like Jim Harbaugh. Like it just doesn't make much sense to me.
He also could have just been trying to make a damn splash. So
See, but I feel like that would come more from ownership versus a GM. Like he seems more analytically driven, not like, oh, I need a big name. Like it just, I don't know, it didn't seem to fit that narrative for me.
I'm just happy we've made it a half an hour without mentioning tight ends.
You want to start now? It's going to take us 3 minutes.
I'm being serious.
It's literally going to take us 3 minutes. Congratulations. You all hit on Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say we all hit on the exact same guys.
Yeah,
because we all
and
had
Kittle
the exact same
and
guys.
Waller. Congratulations. All of you missed on Jonnu Smith. Give me somebody else who was in the
Dalton
top
Schultz.
5. Dalton Schultz. Congratulations. Y'all missed on him. Y'all missed on Blake Jarwin.
Yeah,
What
Pat Fryermuth.
do you want me to say? Like, what do you want me to say here?
I'm not busting your balls, Joe. I said I was happy. Fuck, man.
What do you want me to say? You know what? Let's just fly through this and then we could talk about fun stuff elsewhere, right? So, Chris.
Wow, I feel like I ruined the show.
Chris, congratulations.
Yeah.
You hit on Andrews, Kelsey, and Kittle, and then you got Pitts, Fant, and Goddard. Congratulations to the community on getting those 6 guys right. George Kittle, good job. Gerald Everett, you projected him at 19. He was 20. Jack Doyle projected 26.
Those are pretty solid projections, though, Chris. I mean, you're
Those
off
are
by
project, yeah.
2 targets, 4 receptions, 32 yards. Like, that's,
Yeah, I mean,
good job there, dude.
great
Thank
job. And again, we've talked about this. It doesn't matter outside of guys that can't catch touchdowns. And Gerald Everett, I think, caught 5 touchdowns in 2 games combined. Like, he caught all of his touchdowns.
That's still
in
more
2
than
games.
most tight ends.
Well,
It's
it's
like,
actually
what, 4
weird.
more
If
than
you
Pitts?
multiply Cole Kmet's touchdowns by 1 million, that's still less than what Gerald Everett had. It's weird. If you multiply the amount of touchdowns Kmet had by the amount that Mark Andrews had, it's still less than the amount Jimmy Graham had for the Chicago Bears this season. So, love Cole Kmet. Josh, congratulations. You hit 6 of the top 12. Like, what do you want me to say here? This is so stupid. You also hit on Tyler Higbee. Congratulations. You had Kelsey and Andrews tops and touchdown receptions. Great. You had, also they were up there with Knox and Henry. I'll
Which I
pat myself on the
completely
back
missed on.
for Henry for calling him the Gronkowski of the offense, and I'll take the stab wound across the neck for Jonnu Smith, but I think we all take the stab wound across the neck for Jonnu Smith.
Me.
I blame you. I promise you.
I blame-
Every time we did a show, I gave him more targets, and you motherfucker.
Me or Josh?
You,
Oh,
Joe.
well, Josh had him at 5 in his preseason
Yeah,
ranking.
I was a lot higher on him.
Yeah.
I had him at 16.
I mean, that's
A
even.
lot closer
but-
than any of us.
So, in our dynasty league, I sent Joe last year around, off season, an offer for Jonnu Smith. I'm like, he's, with Hunter Henry, he's probably not going to have a good first year. Give him a third. Joe counters with the first, and that's the quickest I've ever.
Well,
You just paid a pick swap for him.
I counted with the first because it was me saying I'm not giving up this guy for for that.
I love that I was trying to give Hunter Henry away and nobody wanted him.
You know what? You know what the best part of this though? You know what the best part of this is? If you multiply Cole Kmet's touchdowns by 1 million, Jonnu Smith still has more. That's how bad Cole Kmet was, ladies and gentlemen. Jonnu Smith had a touchdown this season. Cole Kmet, 0. You know what? That's the only fucking stat that matters here. Jonnu Smith was a leading receiver in 1 game. Thank you, Dave Kluge, for that statistic. And also, he caught more touchdowns than Cole Kmet. So all you know what? Fuck you. I hit on Jonnu Smith. I hate all of you. God, I hope he does better this year. This was just
Should we talk about the
atrocious.
better tight end in New England? Or
No, I gave him his
whiffed
props.
big time on Henry.
I think everyone whipped big time on Henry.
Well, it's just I had talked about this a lot coming into the season that it was so hard to project how much they were going to involve those tight ends because they hadn't used them for 2 years, sub 40 targets to the position for 40 years. And as shitty as a season as Jonnu Smith had, he still had more than 40 targets and he was the second best. So it was so hard figuring out how to project them. And then it was so hard. You didn't expect Hunter Henry to score that many touchdowns because you didn't at one point, you didn't even know who the quarterback was going to be. They were a pain in the ass, but I mean, I'm happy for Hunter Henry.
I'm happy as well. He's on my team, so I'm happy. I hope Jonnu Smith can, stay healthy and then produce in the offense. But Josh, you also had Kittle at 4, which was correct. Pitts at 6, which was correct. Gesicki at 8, which was correct. fun fact, Miami ran 12 personnel league high 61% of the time. The next closest being the Green Bay Packers at 29%.
Now, you guys follow this stuff more than me. Would that be because they put Gesicki out as a wideout so often? So is the other guy
It could
lined up
very
as a
well
tight
be.
end?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of my guess, honestly, because their wide receiver room was absolutely decimated all year.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Parker missed extended time. We know about Will Fuller. Albert Wilson never stays healthy all year. I mean, they're trotting out guys like Mac Hollins and Isaiah Ford and stuff. Like it made sense to have, Gesicki out there full time and then just run another tight end in line. So, but still,
Love you,
61%, like that's high.
Love you, Kelly. I'm just busy yelling at Ryan.
Well,
I mean, that's all.
A point to, Miami, Will Fuller is hurt all the time. Devontae Parker is hurt half the time. So they really didn't have anyone other than Waddle.
And so I'm just wondering if it's something. And then, of course, there's the entire coaching change now. But I didn't know if it was something we could see transitioning next year, because I wonder the value of guys like Durham Smythe and Hunter Long didn't do shit. But who's the other tight end down there?
Adam Shaheen.
I wonder the value of them in 12 personnel, because they would score touchdowns in the most unlikely moments. But like, could Hunter Long be a real person even if Gesicki's back? But we just don't know at this point. So
I think he could be a real person.
I mean, they spent decent draft capital on him. The same
Yeah.
GM is still there. It's just a different head coach.
Same owner, paying for
Yeah.
losses, apparently.
yeah.
Kelly, this is not pre-recorded. I can guarantee you that. Live reactions to these moron statements on your screens right now at 6:37 Central Time on a Wednesday afternoon, as we so lovingly talk about the greatest position in fantasy football.
Wednesday evening, Joe.
Ryan Weiss's favorite, the tight end position.
It is.
Yes, because he called 3 of the top 5, 5 of the top 12, 9 of the top 12. So, or 9 of the top 16 or something. 5 of the top. What, Ryan? You
Nine
messed
of the
up.
top 15.
You fucked up.
Did I? Oh, did I put
You
top
fucked
12
up.
twice?
Guys, I'm just trying to read off this show sheet. At the top, it says we're talking about receivers this week. So if we
Oh,
can
it does?
really, if we
My bad.
can really handle our shit, so that
Let
way
me
when
change that really quick.
so that way when I look at the show sheet, 20 minutes before we go live, and also read it as I'm reading it live on air, I'd like for things to be correct.
So just a heads up, I will not be joining you for the rest of the month to wrap up this season.
Perfect. Thank
either.
you, Chris. Yeah, thank you
I mean,
very
I
much.
copy and paste this all the time.
Thank you very much. I can't wait till next week, where we have our week 15 starts at different day show, as we're joined by Kelly and Phoenix. Like, what the hell? What are we gonna do? What are we doing here?
Hey, Joe,
Ryan,
there's one stat on here that matters.
Yeah.
I did this for you.
that you missed Cole Kmet by just 10 points. He was your tight end 18, and he finished even lower at tight end 20.
I called the bullshit, Joe. You were right.
You 100% called the bullshit. And to all of our friends or not friends in the industry that said Cole Kmet will be a top 12 tight end this year, we welcome you on the show. We want you to come on the show. Keep in mind, I will yell at you, but it will be out of love. And that's what I want to make as clear as possible, is that it'll be out of love. And it's more so just to, kind of virtually shake your body and be like, you're an idiot. Why are you putting him this high? So that's all. That's all. Ryan, I'm happy you put that on there. I'm really happy you put that on there for me, friend. Okay, the
I had Kmet at
misses.
30 and he finished at 20, so I was actually really low on him. But
Wow.
You also had Hunter Renfrow at 72, so you can shove
Shut
him up your
up.
ass. So your rankings suck, by the way. Terrible.
thanks.
Awful. Your rankings are awful. Listen, I wouldn't say that, but you put Hunter Renfrow at 72, and that's simply disrespectful.
I owned it.
Come on,
I mean,
Josh.
You had
I
him
could have
next
easily readjusted my rankings. It's not like any
Ryan.
of you guys are physically looking at my spreadsheet. So
Ryan, at least you had him at 66.
That's right.
At least you had him at 66.
I gave him a modicum of respect.
You gave him an
Yeah, I
extra
meant
2
70.
catches compared to Josh.
In a 32 team league, I had him as a wide receiver 3. a high wide receiver.
Flex play. It's good
Strong
flex play.
flex play. Strong flex play. Okay. Chris, you were super low on Pat Frymouth. You had him at 30. He finished 14. Too low on Andrews. You had him at 5. He was the tight end one. Whiffed on Anthony Ferkser. Projected Jarwin to be
You
top
were
10.
really high on Ferkser in the offseason. I do remember that.
And then
Yeah, I had him at 12.
What a baffling team that team was with their use of tight end.
It's so confusing because, like, you know, Jeff Swaim got in the action a little bit, but still nothing.
Well, and then
nothing of note.
Michael Pruitt had like a 2-touchdown game at one point. It was just ugly. So.
One little fun fact about the Tennessee tight end room. Every single one of them had more touchdowns individually than
This is the most anti-Cole Kmet show ever.
I'm going to laugh so hard when he's a top 5 tight end next year.
If he's a top 5 tight end next year, I will run out my window. I will run out my window on the second floor. There's no way he's a top 5 tight end.
He's only a top 5 tight end if tragedy hits the entire AFC.
If Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Darren Waller, and Kyle Pitts all come down with some form of uncurable cancer,
I said they would have to almost
at that point does Cole Kmet even crack the top 15, let alone the top 5?
I wasn't going to kill them. I was going to say they were going to conspire to commit a crime, Ocean's 11 style, and all get arrested.
So can we talk about Kyle Pitts?
Yes.
Because I feel like he was a major bust this year, even as the tight end 6 with his ADP, you know, skyrocketing in the community like it was. And a lot of the chatter I hear these days is like, oh, he only had 1 touchdown. It'll go up. It'll go up. Are we sure it's going to go up that much? Because Atlanta's probably not getting any better on offense.
Whoa. I don't think he was 1,000 yards, 100 targets.
Well,
yeah,
he was a fine NFL tight end, but his ADP got out of control, and I feel like he's going to be even higher this year.
I think his ADP got more inflated because of the dynasty community. Because I think his ADP
for the Kyle Pitts
in
community.
redraft, his ADP in redraft, I think was still only like tight end 7 or 6, and he finished
4.
in tight ends.
It was 4 in August.
Was it really that high?
Yeah.
So
it went above
6.
He leapt Andrews, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did. He went above Andrews.
I mean, I guess in that sense, then sure, he becomes a disappointment. But I mean, a rookie tight end topping 1,000 yards, like I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, where I had him projected just off of points, I think within like 5, but all the extra
NFL
yards that he ended up accumulating made up for the lack of touchdowns. So,
how many actual boom games did he have? How many times did he?
I think he only had like
for
2 or 3,
1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
one
from
overseas.
a consistency standpoint, sure, he wasn't great.
Yeah,
But
16,
you could say that about every tight end.
Okay, 16 is hard to call a boom, and that was in week 16. So 5 and 7 were his only booms. So that lends a little credence to. If I'm drafting,
All I'm saying is his ADP is probably going to be in the top 3 tight ends next year with the way things are trending. Like, oh well, he got 1,000 yards. He's just going to get the touchdowns next year. And if he has another, top 7 season.
What I'm going to be curious to see is what they ultimately do on offense. Like, I think all of us have kind of come to the conclusion that Ridley's probably out. Like, they're going to make a move there, give him a fresh start. If they end up building around him as essentially like the de facto wide receiver 1, maybe they re-sign Gage, they bring in more complementary pieces on offense. That's going to be interesting to see if he's able to break that like sort of number 1 wide receiver coverage that he probably didn't have the ability to break as a rookie because he's inexperienced and he's a rookie. Now he's going into a second season because they're splitting him out wide. He's really not running in line at all. He's running in line probably about as much as Kelce and Waller are, roughly about 30% of the time. So, as those 2 guys have gotten and played in this league a long time, they've gotten used to running with that extra coverage. Kelce has the benefit of someone like Tyreek Hill, Waller has the benefit of Hunter Renfrow. Right now, Pitts doesn't have that. He doesn't have that secondary guy that defenses can sway to help him get open and take away some of that coverage. So that's why I say this offseason, at least from a redraft perspective, to me is going to be interesting to see what the team does to better support him on offense.
I just want to counter with, I don't think anybody here would remotely agree, but if it happens, it happens. I don't see a way he sniffs the top 3 in ADP. That's got to be Kelsey, Waller, and Andrews, and then you start getting into a muddle.
I was going to say Waller's going to be interesting.
Being injured.
Yeah, Waller's going to be interesting because of the injury.
I mean, he could crack 3 because people might be scared off of injuries from Waller.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So is that the scenario where he does? To me, I'm not afraid of Waller at all. I'll take every drop of Waller.
Waller with McDaniels as his head coach?
Yeah.
And hey, if people want to put Kyle Pitts in the top 3, thank you. That means I can take, an actual good player that is going to help my team and not underperform in, the top 5 rounds. But that is, because that's bold. Like, you can double
to be tight end 3, he would have to be a 3rd round pick. And I'm leaning all the way to Chris at this point. The stats he put up this year are not 3rd round pick stats remotely.
No, like he was a great rookie tight end in terms of NFL standards, but in fantasy, I just feel like he was a major bust, and it's only going to get worse as the offseason goes on.
I'd love for Kelly to chime in on this because she's been defending Mark Andrews all day. Is Andrews over Kelsey for you, Kelly? But I guess for you guys. So at this point, Kelsey's no longer a 1st round pick. I think we can all agree on that. And I don't think Andrews did enough to make himself a 1st round. You think so, Chris?
I think back end, go double up, top.
Okay. 10, and that's fair. That's how I draft as well. So, but we're looking at Kelsey. Is Andrews a 2nd round pick?
Yes.
I think you can definitely make the argument. I mean, my biggest thing when I'm looking at Andrews, how much of this year is sustainable? I mean, because again, we saw how decimated they were at running back. They're trotting out, guys that
corpses
haven't been good in years. And when you look at statistically, he was actually better without Lamar Jackson than he was when on a per game basis. When they get Dobbins back healthy, when they get Gus Edwards back healthy, how much is Greg Roman going to say, you know what, let's just go back to what works, and we're not going to throw the ball 600 plus times this year. So how much does that affect? Like, we know Andrews is good from a standpoint. We again, over 1,300 yards this year, 10 touchdowns. He gets in the end zone. That's never been the problem. But when you're looking and trying to project these top tight ends, you want volume. Waller and Kelsey have been those guys because they're getting 130 plus targets every year. Are we at a point now? They added Rashad Bateman. He's now going into year 2. Hollywood Brown has seen an over 24% target share now 2 years in a row, and still doesn't get a ton of respect. And yes, I understand drop touchdowns, etc. But just from an overall production standpoint, he's doing it. So if they regress in targets and pass attempts next year, you invest that high a draft capital in Waller, that could be a problem.
See, if he
goes in Waller or Andrews?
Round.
Andrews, excuse me.
Andrews, yeah.
I'm okay. I don't draft tight ends high. I don't think you should draft the tight end in the 1st round because I think running back is way too scarce. And
then they'll just get hurt like they do every year.
I mean, not if you draft the guys I draft and listen to the show correctly. But true.
Joe won every championship this year.
No, I just had the top 2 running backs.
And how many championships?
In 3 leagues. Well, in 2 leagues, I did make the championship. So, but neither here nor there.
So if you drafted 101, would you? I'll be
Jonathan
honest.
Taylor.
Would you have taken Jonathan Taylor, or is that hindsight talking?
Like, no, I'm talking like. Are you talking this upcoming?
Last year.
Last year.
No, I would have drafted Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, yeah, I mean,
again, I go back to back there, and I think the perfect thing of like my reasoning of why I don't draft the tight end high Ryan created a tight end 5 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Streaming. A tight end 5. Hunter Henry was just available. Dawson Knox was just available. I got those guys, and they helped put me into the playoffs over the dude I drafted, Jonnu Smith. So I dropped Jonnu Smith, picked up these guys who were free on the waiver wire, and they turned out to be good. They turned out to be good pickups. I picked up CJ Uzomah 1 week. I picked up Tyler Conklin 1 week.
Well, I was gonna say if you
just
hit,
need a touchdown.
if you hit, it works. I still prefer. It's all about your fantasy mindset for tight end. Even though I live the stream for tight end, I prefer set it and forget it. I always have. I always will. So
And
I
that's
also
what-
think it
One of
depends
those-
on the league you're in too.
yes,
Because if you're in these like so-called expert leagues where other people may have the mindset like, oh, I'm going to stream every week, streaming then becomes harder.
yes,
If you're in like your standard regular home leagues, most people are just they're setting and forgetting, even if they have like a tight end 20 as their number one guy. You know what I mean? So then streaming becomes a little bit easier. If you don't have Fab, streaming becomes a little bit easier. If you have Fab, becomes a lot more difficult.
I
Keller
think
brings
that,
up a good
you know,
point.
you-
yeah. Keller brings up a good point. In a tight end premium league, you're probably drafting Andrews high.
I'm
You're
going
probably
to throw out
drafting Kelsey high, but I personally would not spend a first round draft pick on those guys. I'm okay with a second round pick if you do choose to be of that mindset. I'm okay with that.
I'm going to throw out just one quick fallacy, and I'm starting to think I might need to do an article about this. Tight end premium changes absolutely nothing for the tight end position.
I was just going to say that.
It's all about making tight ends flexible in later weeks and things like that. The tight end position is the tight end position is the tight end position. If you look at tight end premium scoring versus non-tight end premium scoring, the tight end 1 outscores the tight end 12 by the same points per game. It's just, it is what it is. It's the exact same thing. It's just, it makes guys lower an option to throw into your flex spot. So don't get caught up on drafting tight ends early in a tight end premium league. And if your league does that, zig when they zag. That's where you can get so much value at running back and wide receiver.
See, and I feel the same way when you're comparing quarterbacks with 4 points per touchdown versus 6 points per passing.
All it does is it changes rushing quarterbacks in that situation. So
I think same thing with Superflex. It's depending on how you value these guys. You know, you might have to draft like the later guys sooner, but
well, I
you
say
still don't have
Superflex
to
changed
just-
because most people treat Superflex as a 2 QB league. You don't have to, but you should. And so there's position scarcity at that point. But tight end premium doesn't change scarcity. It changes scoring, but it changes scoring for everybody.
The only thing it
still doesn't change
changes,
the tiers.
yeah, the only thing it changes
gonna say-
is who are you valuing in the, like, are you going to value if you drafted, 104 in a 12-team league and it wraps back to you and Mark Andrews is sitting there at 206, are you going to value a wide receiver 1, an RB2, or Mark Andrews because he's getting 2 points per catch instead of these guys who are only getting 1?
Well,
It
Kelly,
doesn't adjust.
I say
the
Kelly
rankings
does
at all.
concede 1 point here where she can start multiple tight ends if she wants. There was this whole push last year for the bully tight end strategy where you grab 2 of the top guys in the first 5 rounds. In a tight end premium, that's a hell of a strategy if you can surround them with running backs. It's a hell of a strategy. But the question is, does it push ADPs up so high that it's undoable at that point?
Yeah,
So.
exactly. And Elixirs
I didn't think
asks, Waller or Kittle? Standard. Who would you have? Who would you rather have in 2022? Waller or Kittle in a standard, Joshua?
Standard league.
There's only one right answer to this.
I would still probably go Waller, truthfully, just because he's going to have more touchdown potential even outside of a Josh McDaniels offense. I mean, I don't think Kittle scored more than like 5 touchdowns in any season of his career.
Yeah,
Chris?
I think I would go Waller too, just based off the touchdowns.
Ryan?
Oh, it's Waller for sure.
Waller based off his head coach. Like, you can give them both the same amount of touchdowns. Waller's going to see the ball more. I don't know. And also, if Jimmy Garoppolo becomes his quarterback, which I feel like he probably will. I have zero inside information on that, but it just feels like that's what it's gearing up to there in Vegas.
What is Carr? Am I missing? What is Carr's contract?
look
He's
it
got 1 year left on his contract, but he signed the old QB deals, so he's not even making $20 million this year.
So he's going to want to fight for money this year anyway.
Correct.
So
Probably.
Yeah, they don't have any dead cap with Carr moving forward.
Yeah, his dead cap hit
Wow.
is 0. So
Well-
if they just straight up cut him, it doesn't hurt them at all.
But you're not going to do that because you
No,
can
you're
trade
gonna-
into a team, probably get either a high second, maybe a late first or something.
You're gonna try 100. You're gonna try and trade him, but also you're gonna trade him and you're gonna have 0 dead cap. So that means you can still spend whatever money you were gonna pay him, plus the money that you might have paid more of him to like re-sign him for the money he wants to Garoppolo.
So
and
here's
also, go ahead. Sorry, Ryan.
well, no, it's fine. You would have to acquire Garoppolo first. It just seems risky. I don't know. I'd rather have Carr. I guess that's what it really comes down to.
I'm not vouching
I
for
don't-
Jimmy Garoppolo by any
Yeah.
means.
I guess that's my thing is I
let
don't
this be
really see
clear.
the need. I think Garoppolo should go to Pittsburgh, but if Carr could end up in Pittsburgh, even better.
I don't think we answered this question, but let's say you're sitting there in the second round and there's Kelsey and Andrews there. Who are you taking first?
Oh, it's Kelsey for me all day. I'm
Yeah.
super bought in.
Yeah,
I think I would still rank Kelsey over Andrews. Again, it's just when you get the running backs back, I don't know how that offense will change. And that just kind of plays into it. I know exactly what I'm getting out of Kelsey, and I know what I'm getting out of that Kansas City offense because they don't need running backs, and we've seen that because CEH they took
Also-
in the first round, and he still sucks. So
Kelsey has shown no signs of slowing down. I'm actively trying to acquire him in dynasty leagues.
that's fair.
I don't know.
I already have him in every dynasty.
Not that one. I'm still. a
Oh, I
ways
know.
away
I'm
on that
just
one.
saying though, that was the game I played every dynasty startup. I made sure I landed Travis Kelsey because I'm not concerned. So I still love Mark Andrews, Kelly. Don't kill me in the chat. I wrote an article 2 years ago saying he could have been the damn tight end one, and then he just made me look
Boomer
bad
sooner.
1 year late. So
He'll
Little early
turn
on that one, right?
He'll turn 33 next season. I know he's shown no signs of slowing down. He'll turn 33 next season. I don't know.
I think you still have at least 2 good years. At least,
And that's what
2.
you need in dynasty.
Yeah.
so you're. So
I don't-
you're-
Again, it just depends on where you're at. in
I mean, you're
dynasty.
clearly not
That's
taking
what
either
I'm
one of
thinking.
them in the second round. But
No, I'm not. That's like the tough part of this question for me. But because Josh makes a good point, I don't like Baltimore's offense for pass catchers. I hate them for pass catchers. But Mark Andrews seems to be the guy that it just doesn't matter. He's Mark Andrews who's going to catch touchdowns, and that's all I care about at this point. So I don't know. Like his yards per game was his lowest since 2016.
but his targets doubled. Are we talking Kelsey or Andrews?
Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
But then he had 92. He had the same amount of yardage in 2016, but he had, he did it on 7 less catches. So he was more efficient back then. And that was really his first breakout year because the year before he only had 875 yards, which again, still good for a tight end, but that was his real breakout year was 2016. So this is actually his worst year since his breakout year in his lowest yards per target ever.
Yeah.
Like
He was
when
still
you
tight
look
end,
at
too.
it, this is technically one of Kelsey's worst seasons outside of touchdowns.
And he was still.
Yeah, 1,100 yards,
And
92
again,
receptions, 9 touchdowns.
He's still a top 3 tight
Well,
end because the position is that bad.
When you look at his yards per target and his yards per reception, he's neck and neck with Mark Andrews in his breakout year.
What do you? I'm sorry. What do you mean?
You said
Like-
it's his lowest yards per reception, his lowest yards per target. His numbers are right next to Mark Andrews, like 8.4 to 8.8 and 12.2 to 12.7. So Kelsey's worst year is matching the new kid on the block's breakout year. Like I'm not worried about Travis Kelce.
I guess what I was trying to say in that whole thing is I don't draft tight ends early. So
Yeah,
I really was trying to dance around that question. I was trying to dance around that question. And also, I know Mark Andrews had bum games, but I mean, I feel like if you're drafting a guy that high, he had 4 games this season under 30 yards receiving with no touchdowns. Like, when have we seen that? Even when he doesn't have a touchdown, he has 6 catches for 80 yards. Even when he plays the Patriots, he'll have 19 yards, but he'll have a touchdown. Yeah. So, like, to me, there was a lot of bad games from Kelce that doesn't warrant him a first round draft pick or a high second. That's why I don't draft tight ends that high. That's all. I just feel like this was it just from like recent memory. It just feels like one of Kelce's worst seasons. I don't know. I don't draft tight ends high. Just wait. Don't even draft a tight end. I might not draft a tight end next year. It's really to the point where you're just kind of throwing shit against the wall and hoping something sticks. Unless you want to spend the capital on an Andrews or Kelce. And at this point, can we even put? I'll put Waller there because this is his first year with just injury.
I was going to say my issue now is, as a profound Travis Kelce lover, if I can get Waller in the 4th or 5th, it's going to be hard for me to pull the trigger on Kelce in the 2nd.
Waller, not even a question.
There's so many good wide receivers in the 4th and 5th. You could have got Cooper Kupp and Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I was going to say he's the quintessential now. So that's
why I draft 3 running backs first, because there's so many good receivers in the 4th and 5th round.
You're gonna have Kupp jumping up to the 1st round next year.
Yeah,
Adams will still be there. So.
You'll see Kupp go 101 guaranteed in a lot of leagues.
And I'm not even gonna say it's the worst possible pick. Jonathan Taylor probably should be the 101, but Kupp at 102, I'm not against that.
I still remember Calvin Johnson's big breakout. He was absolutely going 101 in quite a few drafts.
Yep.
I'm not saying Cooper Kupp won't be the wide receiver 1 next year. I don't really know that, but there's no way he repeats what he did this year. Like, you are asking him to again literally have an NFL record breaking season.
Yeah.
Again.
But I mean, why not? Why not? I heard this argument a lot with Derrick Henry.
Why not?
I heard this argument a lot with Derrick Henry, coming into this year, and if not for injuries, he would have had way over 2,000 yards.
I'm not disagreeing. I just, again, you're asking Jonathan Taylor to have just a good Jonathan Taylor year, right? What we expect of Jonathan Taylor, maybe a little bit more.
I mean, even if he regresses to 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns, he's still going to be a top 3 running back.
Easy. But you're asking Cooper Kupp to once again break NFL records in back-to-back seasons. That's a lot. That's just so much to ask.
He doesn't necessarily have to do that to be the wide receiver 1, though.
Yes, no, sure.
He had so much leeway.
Yeah,
sure, but I can't get on board drafting a wide receiver that high unless you can literally guarantee me 13 targets a game. I can't get on board that high.
I guess the issue
there were a lot of wide receivers this year that hit that and felt like.
Well, the biggest issue is history screams that nobody repeats as the RB1. So taking Jonathan Taylor at the 101 is also a mistake.
I mean, there's been a different wide receiver 1 every year for the past 5 years.
Well, RB1, there's not been a repeat in
even
what
longer.
You can find on fantasy data. Like, that's how crazy it is. So.
Yeah, I think it goes all the way back to like Priest Holmes or Danian Tomlinson or something like that.
Exactly.
AP never went back to back.
As far as I know, in the last 25 years, I think it is on fantasy data, or 20 years, there's not been a repeat.
Dang.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Any repeat tight end 1s?
Yeah.
Kelce.
5 straight fucking years, baby.
5 straight years of Travis Kelce because no one else wanted to play the tight end position. Okay. Biggest surprises, everyone has Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Everyone and their mother has Dalton Schultz. Everyone has Zach Ertz because, well, he got traded. And then,
Honestly, I was still surprised just because Arizona, kind of like what we were talking about with New England, Cliff Kingsbury never targeted the tight end position.
Yep.
And we all raved about Dan Arnold in the middle of the year. He had Dan Arnold, never threw to him.
Yeah.
well,
Max
no,
Williams.
he did
broke
throw to
down.
him. He just, Dan Arnold dropped it. That was the issue.
Yeah.
And that I was about to bring that up, Ryan. I wonder if we all would have been surprised and talked about Max Williams if he played the full season. Like, would people have maybe hopped on a Max Williams train just a little bit heading into next season if he continued, obviously, the trajectory he had through a very small sample size?
I say eight fantasy points per game for 5 games, and I don't think he got hurt in the middle of a game, if I remember correctly. So
yes,
It
hurt
was
in the
first
middle of a
catch.
game.
Yeah. So
Yes, first, yeah, because everyone thought he was going to have a great game that week because it was a
Yep.
very good matchup and it was on his first catch. Just like when Ryan thought James Robinson was going to have a really good week against the Jets, and then
I probably
cursed him.
I probably predicted Max Williams to have a monster week that week.
No, I think you're predicting Michael Pruitt to have a monster
Actually, hold
week.
on.
And he had,
That-
no,
that
David
was
Njoku,
Michael.
I think, was that week.
Oh, that one was awesome.
David Njoku, 0 targets,
The
0 catches.
the tight end 22.
Yeah, buddy.
Was
Yeah,
he
he
the tight
ended
end
up outscoring.
22?
Yeah, he ended up outscoring Austin Hooper.
Hey, I'm
Just imagine
So
if
bad.
Stefanski would just commit to one tight end. I mean,
I'm
you
happy
could
to
build
say.
a top 5 tight end in Cleveland. It's so stupid. They cycle
Njoku's
all
an
3
athlete.
of those guys.
Go ahead.
I just
Ryan.
want to throw out week 4, great Max Williams week, was on the stream of the week list. Week 5, the week of the injury, did not make the stream of the week list.
Nice.
Wow, look
So
at
you saved your cursing
Wait,
until the end.
wait,
of this
hold on.
season. Okay, we
Hold
know
on.
how to go.
I'm fairly positive that was because he was over 50% owned because we put him on the pick 'em up.
Well, then I write that article too. So go me.
I was gonna say, like, you only put guys that are under 50%, so
Yeah.
I don't think he was available
I'm doing
that
myself
week.
doing myself a massive disservice.
Yeah.
I need to start just letting you guys stream Travis Kelce.
Well,
tired of being wrong.
well, we got through the tight ends, guys. That was
Hey, we
fun.
did it.
That was a good time. Thank you, Chris, for joining us for the month of January and
Yes.
the first Wednesday in February, as it will now most likely be due to Week 18. Next week is our Super Bowl prop bets show with the one and only Mark Drumheller, who joined us last year. He's now writing with Yahoo Sports.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Chris's Thrive Day props are. Is this? I want to make sure this is still accurate information because we.
Yeah, but we're not obviously we're not doing it this weekend, but yeah.
No
okay.
Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl picks for me.
You sure? I feel like you should do Pro Bowl picks. Pro Bowl Thrive Day picks with
Just
Chris
take all the
Molina.
overs.
Take the overs.
over. You know the Jamie Foxx commercial where it's the MGM commercial where he says hit and overs. Just keep swinging your arms
Yeah.
that way. Don't even swing to the unders. So,
I hate betting unders. I hate it.
See, I do too. And
I
the
as
one time I bet the under was the Navy Notre Dame game when every one of my friends around me bet the over. And when the over hit, I did not hear the end of it because I was positive. I also bet Navy to cover. Dumb move. So,
You know, some unders are just they scream smash picks, but you're just rooting for nothing to happen, and I hate it.
yeah, you're rooting for no fun is what it is. You're rooting for no fun. And that's like, that's no fun.
That's no fun.
That's no fun.
Yes.
Rooting for no fun is no fun. Okay. Great show, guys. I'm not really have
Hey,
anything to wrap this up
for
here.
a tight end show, it was great.
Yeah, electric, some might say. I'm excited for next week because there's going to be some funny prop bets that we add in there. I'm
excited because I don't actually have to put together a show sheet because this is all
fuck,
you,
I have
buddy.
to do that.
Yeah.
I have work.
I don't care.
Now you got a little bit more.
I have
Okay.
worked every week too, and I still managed to do these show sheets.
Listen, I don't know if Kelly's joking at this point or not. I'm very confused. I really don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared. Yeah, no, I'm excited for next week. I think my favorite one that I hope there is a prop bet of this year, which is probably going to be the toughest prop bet to get correct. Last year we talked about what will be the weekend's first song that he plays.
Oh my goodness.
What will be the first song this year? With
Lose
Eminem,
yourself.
Dr.
I was about
Dre.
to say, if we follow the trailer, Eminem will be the first artist. But with so many artists, I mean, the prop bet itself could be who's the first artist that comes out.
Wasn't Dre
But-
the first
but Dre-
announced?
Yes, but
Yeah.
also Dre's the DJ, so Dre's probably going to be out there the whole time.
Well, first of all, dickhead, Dr. Dre is a producer, not a DJ.
Literally started as a DJ.
Not with the rap game.
Producer, DJ. He started
They are
in
different
the
things,
same
Joe.
Very different.
he
I know
started
DJ
off as a
Colin.
DJ. Okay, what is he's going to be producing the music out there?
No,
that he already
he's a
produced?
rapper, you asshole. He has songs.
I'm
He's
aware
going
he
to be
has
performing.
I'm aware he has songs.
He's not
Ryan.
going to be back there on the ones and fucking twos. He's not
I
Jazzy Jeff.
guarantee you is. I guarantee you he is. I guarantee you he is.
I hope that's a prop bet. And I'll take
I
the
guarantee you
under.
he is. 100% he is. Guaranteed. One point throughout the
At
night.
no
he
point will you see Dr. Dre behind a fucking turntable. At
Yeah, you will.
0
No.
point.
No, you
100%.
won't.
100%.
No, you won't.
This seems like a
Yeah,
good
you
prop bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
you will. Yeah, you will. 100%. No
Well,
doubt
you
in
got
my
one
mind
to
you
add
will.
for us for the show.
100%
You'll
no
be the
doubt in my
only one who
mind.
takes yes, and you'll be wrong.
No doubt in my mind that he will be. So I can't wait to come in on Wednesday the 16th and gloat to you guys that I was correct. So regardless, I will not be leaving my house for the Super Bowl mostly because I want to watch the halftime show. I could care less about this actual game. I just want to watch the halftime show. Could absolutely I want the Bengals to win because that was who I said would win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
But that's
I win
I don't
money if
care.
the Bengals win, so go Bengals.
Sorry,
I
you're
don't
outnumbered,
care.
Chris. I just want to see a good game personally.
That's all I care about.
I won't be
wanna
mad
see-
if the Rams win. I would love to see Matthew Stafford get some vindication for suffering all those years in Detroit, but I also wouldn't be mad if the Bengals end years of misery and Joe Burrow
And
triumph.
you mean Joey Burr, as people
Joey
are calling him
Burr.
now? Joey
Jo-
Burr?
Joe Shiesty.
Just oh god.
I will
Oh,
say the one
Burrow.
narrative with Joe Burrow that really bugs me that people are like, oh, well, I want to see Stafford because Burrow's young and he's got every opportunity to get back. 1984, Dan Marino made the Super Bowl in his second year and never once got back to the Super Bowl. So I
Yeah.
don't buy that fucking narrative. When you get there, don't you know?
Wait,
Yeah.
has Miami made the Super Bowl since 1984?
No,
I don't think
No.
they have.
No. But, again, goes to my point. Like that's a stupid narrative that people
Let
dial up.
Burrow
Oh, I
win.
want so-and-so to win because so-and-so's young and they have every opportunity to get back. Yeah, they have every opportunity. Doesn't mean they're going to get
I mean,
back.
it can happen.
if the Rams win, I want it to be solely because of Aaron Donald. Like I just love that guy so much. So
Aaron Donald deserves a ring.
Cooper
Yeah.
Cup.
love Cooper Cup.
Aaron Donald, 7.5 sacks. Whatever Aaron Donald's sack prop bet is,
I'm with
over.
it. I'm with it.
I hope I just
whatever his prop bet is, over. all of it.
Tutu Atwell deserves a ring.
Tutu Atwell.
What?
Did he even play a snap this year?
On
He
special
did?
teams.
Yeah.
On special
special
teams.
teams.
No. Did he play a meaningful snap? Let me correct that. Did he play a meaningful
know.
snap? No,
Hey,
he did not.
special teams is one of the three phases of the game. Those snaps are meaningful too.
Unless your name is Cordero
Ask Green
Patterson or
Bay.
Jamal Agnew, your special team snaps mean absolutely nothing. They mean absolutely
I'll tell
nothing.
that to every kicker that you ever prop up in the offseason.
Okay, hold on. No, I take that back.
No, yeah, now
I
there's
take
an
that back.
addendum.
I take that back. Unless your name is Cordero Patterson, Jamal Agnew, EJ Speed, or Evan Big Dick McPherson. It
Trent-
does not matter.
Trent Taylor deserves a ring.
Trent Taylor, he's a Ram.
No, he's a Bengal.
He's a Bengal.
I was like,
What? Trent Taylor, former 49er.
Yep.
The only reason I know
Oh,
that name.
man.
Wow. I remember I was hyping up Trent Taylor for like 2 weeks because he had one good week.
Yep.
That was like 3 seasons ago, I feel. That was a while ago.
I think that is the eternal fantasy football trap right there. He had one good week, so I was hyping him up for 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's like James Prochet when he cracked the top 36. I put him as my upside receiver the week after, knowing I would lose, knowing 100% I was not going to be correct. I'm just happy James Prochet cracked the top 36 and was a startable receiver once this year. That's my crowning achievement in life. He may never reach that again, but that's my crowning achievement.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. For Josh, Chris, Ryan, myself, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Next week, Super Bowl prop bets with Mark Drumheller. No DFS and chill this week because, well, can you even set DFS lineups for the Pro Bowl?
You can.
You can.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure you could do Thrive props on the Pro Bowl as well. So
I mean,
it's a gambler's paradise, baby.
Listen, it's in Vegas nonetheless. So I you know what? I wonder if you can do prop bets on the skills challenges. Someone has to be doing that.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
That would be fun. Someone has to be doing it. Like the dodgeball game, who'll have the most putouts in dodgeball. That would be electric prop bet right there.
I'd play.
I would 100% play.
I'm a degenerate.
I would 100% play. All right. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next week.